Hello, my name is April Reeves, and this is my lesson plan section 1 through 3 for 8th grade biology. The Common Core state standard I am using is CCSS.ELA-literacy.6-8.8. Distinguish among facts, reason, judgment based on research findings and speculation in text. What are your objectives for student learning for this lesson? The students will be able to classify, compare, and describe eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. Why have you chosen this objective? I've chosen this objective because it is a part of the students' Common Core standard for this grade level. Students are also continuing to build on classifying cells and will be using this lesson to prepare students for describing cells in the next lesson. This objective will also build on the next section of the lesson plan for animal and plant cells. This objective will also build a stepping stone that will enable students to move towards cell theory in further lessons. Student grouping. How will you group students for instruction? Students will be grouped in whole group instruction at the beginning of the lesson to ensure that all students can focus on the lesson. I will then group students into groups of 2 to allow for collaboration of ideas and brainstorming. I will be grouping students based on sex. I will then have the students leave the groups and evaluate them by having them to work individually. I will then have them come back to whole group at the end of the lesson for closure. Why have I chosen this grouping? I chose to begin with whole group instruction because the lesson is designed for the instruction to be given to the class as a whole. It allows for the student to listen and process the lesson. I then chose grouping the students into groups of 2 because it allows for cooperative learning, along with allowing me the ability to move around the room and answer questions more efficiently. I chose to group students based on sex because by pairing males together and females together separately, it helps lessen the chances of distraction. I chose to evaluate students individually to ensure that each student understands the lesson and to allow me the ability to provide one-on-one instruction and correction. I then chose to have them come back to a whole group to address any questions and concerns with the lesson. Oops. Sorry about that. Methods, instructional strategies. What methods will you use for this lesson? The teaching methods I have chosen for this lesson are discussion with a lecture, brainstorming, small group activity, and individual evaluation. At the beginning of the lesson, I will instruct students on the history and makeup of eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. I will also visually show the student the similarity along with the differences to ensure that the students understand how to classify each cell into a proper category. I will model to the students how to choose the category for each cell. I will then provide feedback as students work in groups in order to better provide guided practice and assess each student as they work with a partner. I will evaluate students individually through individual practice. Why have I chosen this method or these methods? I chose discussion with the lecture to ensure that the student is able to ask questions and follow along with the lesson, with their direct focus on the lesson. I chose to use brainstorming mixed with collaborative small group activity to allow the students guided practice and ensure feedback could be given. I chose to end the lesson with an individual evaluation to ensure that each student will be able to receive individual feedback along with individual assessment.